The moment I turned down the job offer at Mason Technology, I knew my life would change forever. I just didn't realize how much. "You're making the biggest mistake of your life," my father said, his voice tight with anger. We sat in his home office, the same room where he planned his own rise through corporate America. "This job is a golden ticket, Daniel. Vice President of Operations at 26? Do you know how many people would kill for that opportunity?" I looked down at the offer letter on his mahogany desk. The salary was impressive, more money than most people my age could dream of. The benefits were spectacular. The prestige was undeniable, and I wanted none of it. "I can't take it, Dad," I said quietly. "I have my own project, my own ideas." "Ideas?" He laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Your little app startup? That's not a career, Daniel. That's a fantasy." He wasn't entirely wrong. My company, Nova Tech, was still just a concept, an innovative AI-driven personal assistant that could revolutionize how people manage their daily lives. But we had no funding, no office, and no guarantee of success. What we did have was potential, and a team of brilliant developers who believed in the vision enough to work for equity instead of salaries. "Mason Technology is offering you everything," my father continued. "Security, status, a real future. Don't throw it away on some pipe dream." "It's not a pipe dream," I insisted. "The technology we're developing could change everything. We just need time to—" Time. My mother's voice cut in from the doorway. She stepped into the office, elegant as always in her designer suit. "Time to waste your life? Time to embarrass this family?" I should have known she'd be listening. In our family, career decisions were never just personal. They were a matter of family reputation. "Mom, please. Try to understand." "No, you understand." She placed her hands on my father's desk, leaning forward. "Your sister took the right path. Look at her now, senior analyst at Goldman Sachs, making partner next year. Your brother runs M&A at JP Morgan. And you want to throw away a VP position to play with computers." I thought of my siblings, both married to their jobs, both living the lives our parents had mapped out for them. Both miserable, though they'd never admit it. "I'm not throwing anything away," I said. "I'm choosing my own path." "Then you can fund it yourself," my father declared. "If you turn down this job, don't expect any support from us. No more trust fund. No more allowance. No more safety net." I'd expected this, but it still felt like a punch to the gut. My trust fund had been my backup plan, the cushion that would let me pursue my dreams without fear of complete failure. "You can't be serious," I said, even though I knew he was. Dead serious. He pulled out a document I recognized, my trust fund agreement. "Your mother and I have already spoken to the lawyers. The terms are clear. If you don't accept a suitable position in your field by the end of this month, the fund reverts to us." $3 million. Gone with a signature. My mother touched my shoulder, her voice softening. "Darling, we're doing this for your own good. Take the job at Mason. Join the real world. In a few years, you'll thank us." I stood up slowly, my decision crystallizing. "No," I said. "I won't." "Then get out." My father's voice was ice. "Don't come back until you've grown up and learned how the world really works." I walked out of that house with nothing but my laptop, my savings account, and an idea that I believed could change the world. Behind me, I heard my mother crying, my father's heavy sigh of disappointment. They thought they were teaching me a lesson about reality. Instead, they were giving me the push I needed to create my own. The next few months were brutal. I moved out of my luxury apartment into a tiny studio in a questionable neighborhood. I sold my BMW and bought a used Honda. I learned to live on ramen and coffee, pouring every spare dollar into Nova Tech. My team worked out of my apartment, crowded around a folding table I'd bought at Target. We coded for 18 hours a day, subsisting on energy drinks and determination. My family made sure everyone in our social circle knew about my breakdown. My sister Caroline called once, not to offer support, but to remind me that Mason Technology's offer was still open. "Just apologize to Dad," she said. "Admit you were wrong. It's not too late to fix this." But I wasn't wrong. Every line of code we wrote, every problem we solved, every small breakthrough convinced me more that Nova Tech was onto something revolutionary. Our AI wasn't just another digital assistant. It learned, adapted, and anticipated users' needs in ways that existing technology couldn't match. It could manage schedules, handle communications, and make decisions with almost human intuition. 6 months after my family cut me off, we had a working prototype. 8 months in, we had our first interested investor. I'll never forget that meeting. Sarah Chen, a young venture capitalist known for spotting the next big thing, sat in my cramped apartment, watching our demo with increasingly wide eyes. "This is incredible," she said finally. "How are you doing this?" "The learning algorithms, the predictive modeling. It's years ahead of anything else out there." I explained our technology, watching her expression shift from interest to excitement. "We're not just building a better AI," I told her. "We're creating a true digital companion. Something that understands not just what people do, but why they do it." She took out her phone right there and made a call. "Jack, clear my afternoon. I've just found our next unicorn." 2 days later, we had our first round of funding, $5 million from Chen Ventures. Enough to rent real office space, hire more developers, and start turning our prototype into a real product. I wanted to call my parents to show them I hadn't been chasing a fantasy. But pride stopped me. They'd chosen not to believe in me. Now I had to prove them wrong, not just for myself, but for everyone who'd ever been told their dreams were too big. A year passed. Novatech grew from 5 people around a folding table to 30 employees in a downtown office. Our test version had 100,000 users and a waiting list twice that long. Then came the article in Tech Insider, Novatech, the AI startup that's revolutionizing personal technology. My phone buzzed with a text from Caroline. "Dad saw the article, called it beginner's luck. Says real success means longevity, not just good press." I smiled, thinking of the meetings scheduled for next week, the partnerships we were negotiating, the numbers our accountants were projecting. Dad wanted longevity. He had no idea what was coming. 4 years after my family cut me off, I sat in a sleek conference room on the top floor of Novatech's headquarters, watching my team rehearse our IPO presentation one last time. Current user base exceeds 50 million globally, our CFO reported. Revenue growth is 300% year over year. Conservative market valuation puts us at $12 billion. $12 billion. The number still felt surreal. My phone buzzed, another message from Caroline. She'd been texting nonstop since the IPO announcement hit the news. "Dad's furious you didn't tell us about going public. Says you're being childish. Mom's upset you didn't ask for their advice. Please call them." I set the phone aside. Let them stew for a few more days. They'd find out the full story soon enough. Sarah Chen, who'd become both our lead investor and one of my closest advisors, caught my eye across the table. "Ready for tomorrow?" I nodded. Tomorrow would change everything, not just for Novatech, but for my family's carefully constructed worldview. The press conference starts at 9 a.m. Our PR director reminded everyone. CNBC will broadcast live. Wall Street Journal and Bloomberg already confirmed coverage. I glanced at my watch, the same Timex I bought when I sold my Rolex to fund our first server setup. Let's call it a day. Everyone get some rest. Tomorrow's going to be interesting. Back in my office, I found an email from Mason Technology, the company whose job offer I turned down all those years ago. They wanted to explore partnership opportunities. Too late. We'd already signed an exclusive deal with their biggest competitor. My assistant popped her head in. "Your father called again. Said it's urgent." Of course he did. The whole family was probably panicking, realizing they'd be watching the IPO announcement with the rest of the world instead of from the VIP section. "No calls," I replied. "Not until after tomorrow." That night, I couldn't sleep. I stood at my apartment window, looking out at the city lights, remembering how far we'd come. The first 2 years had been brutal. 18-hour workdays, constant technical challenges, competitors trying to steal our technology. There were nights I almost gave up, almost called my father to apologize, almost took one of the corporate jobs my family kept pushing at me. But every time I wavered, I remembered their dismissal of my dreams, their certainty that they knew best, their attempt to force me into their version of success. That memory became fuel, driving me to push harder, work longer, dream bigger. The next morning, I arrived at Novatech headquarters at 7 a.m. The plaza outside was already filled with reporters, photographers, and financial analysts. Our logo, a rising phoenix, gleamed on the building's facade, a fitting symbol for what was about to unfold. Sarah met me in the lobby. Your family just arrived, she said. Security wasn't sure whether to let them in. I smiled. Put them in the front row. I want them to have the best view possible. The auditorium was packed. In the front row, exactly as I'd requested, sat my parents, Caroline and my brother Michael. They dressed for success. Designer suits, perfect hair, carefully crafted expressions of family pride, as if they'd supported me all along. At exactly 9 a.m., I walked onto the stage. Camera flashes erupted. The room fell silent. Good morning, I began. 5 years ago, I made a choice that many people thought was foolish. I turned down a prestigious corporate position to pursue a dream. Some called it a fantasy. Others called it career suicide. My father shifted uncomfortably in his seat. Those people were wrong. Today, Novatech is revolutionizing how humans interact with artificial intelligence. Our technology is used by 50 million people worldwide. Our partnerships include some of the largest tech companies on the planet. I clicked to the first slide, our financial projections. Novatech's initial public offering values the company at $15 billion. The room erupted in murmurs. I saw my mother's hand fly to her throat. Caroline dropped her phone. But this isn't just about money, I continued. It's about vision, about believing in something when no one else does, about creating technology that makes people's lives better. I clicked to the next slide, our corporate giving program. That's why I'm announcing that 20% of Novatech's IPO proceeds will fund scholarships for young entrepreneurs. People with dreams that might seem impossible. People who need someone to believe in them. The applause was thunderous. In the front row, my family sat frozen. Additionally, I added, enjoying the moment, I'd like to thank Mason Technology, whose job offer I turned down 5 years ago, for demonstrating exactly what I didn't want to become. After the presentation, as reporters swarmed and congratulations poured in, my family approached the stage. They looked shell-shocked, as if they'd wandered into an alternate reality. Daniel, my father's voice had lost its usual authority. Son, we had no idea. Really? I raised an eyebrow. I tried to tell you, multiple times. You didn't want to listen. We were just trying to protect you, my mother interjected, to make sure you had a secure future. I gestured at the auditorium, the reporters, the stock ticker already showing Novatech's soaring share price. How's this for secure? Caroline stepped forward, her Goldman Sachs confidence notably diminished. We should have supported you. We were wrong. Yes, I agreed simply. You were. Perhaps, my father cleared his throat. We could discuss this over dinner. As a family, I know several excellent investment advisors who could help you manage your new wealth. I held up a hand, stopping him. No thanks. I already have an excellent team, including the same lawyers who helped you cut off my trust fund 5 years ago. His face reddened. Son, about that. Water under the bridge, I said. Though you might be interested to know that those $3 million you took back, they'd be worth about $90 million today if you left them invested in Novatech's first round. The look on his face was worth every cup of instant ramen I'd eaten, every sleepless night I'd worked, every moment of doubt I pushed through. Sarah appeared at my elbow. Sorry to interrupt, but Google's CEO is waiting for our call. I turned back to my family. If you'll excuse me, I have a company to run. I'm sure you understand. Being successful business people yourselves. As I walked away, I heard my mother's shaky whisper. What have we done? Later that evening, after the stock had closed at twice its opening price and the champagne had been drunk, I sat in my office holding my old trust fund agreement. The paper that had once seemed like a death sentence now felt like a gift. My phone buzzed with a text from my father. We're proud of you, son. Ready to be part of your life again whenever you're ready. I didn't respond. Instead, I signed the final document on my desk, the paperwork establishing the Novatech Innovation Fund, dedicated to supporting entrepreneurs whose families wouldn't. Sometimes the best revenge isn't proving people wrong. It's succeeding so spectacularly that they have to live with the knowledge of what they threw away. My assistant knocked on the door. Tomorrow's schedule is packed. Meetings with Microsoft, Apple, and 3 major investment banks. I nodded, finally ready to toss the trust fund agreement in the shredder. Let's show them what else they missed out on. The next morning's Wall Street Journal headline said it all. Novatech IPO creates new tech billionaire. Family who cut him off missed out on fortune. But I wasn't done yet. This was just the beginning. Because success, real success, isn't about proving your worth to those who doubted you. It's about proving it to yourself.